Let's make some noise. Come on.
All right, indeedy. Let's make some noise, Nick Foles. Welcome back, everybody, to the Final Word with MattyB here on the It's Rap Sports Network with your boy, MattyB. Not false advertising tonight. On the call. And you've arrived on our final. It's Thursday, right? I'm asking that because I really don't know. It's Thursday, I think. You've arrived on our final show of the week. We chugged it through, and I think we did 3. I don't remember for sure. I think we did 3. So it's a win. It's a win. We're getting out of the woods. We're coming through the darkest part of the woods. I'm starting to see little beams of sunlight come through. It's starting to lighten up a little bit. But we did 3, I think. I know we did at least 1 other than this. I think it's 3. So we're getting back into the groove of the 5 days a week show as it's advertised. Summer's what it was. I warned you this back in May, but we're making our way through, and it's great to be back tonight. Yeah, the MLB draft has come, or draft has MLB trade deadline has draft. Woo! Yeah, you know where my mind's at. The MLB trade deadline has come and has went, and the Phillies have done basically the same thing they've done over the last 3 years. 22, 23, 24, I'm sorry, last 4 years. They've upgraded in the left field position as well as the relief pitcher position. We're going to ask a lot of questions tonight about the upgrades. We're going to ask a lot of questions about the players they got and the players they lost. And what does the farm system look like now? And have we survived? Did Dave Dombrowski do his worst with the farm system, and then we actually came out of this on top or on bottom, or where are we now? Looking forward at our farm system, and more importantly, where are we now looking forward into the rest of 2025? Not a very auspicious start, or I should say auspicious series against the White Sox. Another clunker, lost 2 out of 3 from the lowly White Sox. So we'll get ready for a huge series tomorrow night against the Tigers with a revamped somewhat, I guess, and we'll decide whether or not it's revamped tonight. And is it enough? And we'll also review all the trades. It was a very active trading last 24, 48 hours. A lot of deals went down. A lot of teams, as some of the people out there like to say, pushed all their chips into the center of the table. And one of those teams resides in the NL East. And I don't think it's the Phillies. It's not. I'm kind of glad it's not. But we're going to kind of review some of these trades in a nutshell for you tonight, because it's trades, and yet more trades. We got football tonight. The Chargers are battling the Lions out in Canton, Ohio, because it's Hall of Fame game night. The official start of the NFL 2025 preseason is here. So as we get out of the woods on the trade deadline, we get into the woods somewhat on the football season, as we're getting one more step closer to that magical day in September when it all matters. Maybe we'll cut some football up tonight. We got our, as I mentioned, with the trade deadline, and no active Phillies players traded from the Phillies. So meaning everybody that started yesterday on the Phillies roster is still there. But the players had to come from somewhere, and they did. It came from the minors. We're going to look at the new top 30 prospect list for the Phillies, as they have remade their farm system somewhat. And we'll also take a look back in time and see where Dave Dombrowski, what kind of damage has he done to the burgeoning, budding young Phillies farm system over the 4 years that he's been wheeling and dealing for this team at the trade deadline. We're going to take a look at that tonight and kind of see where we are, where we're headed, and is it as bad as maybe some people think it is? Or maybe they don't. Maybe you guys are blind to what Dave Dombrowski has done to the minor league since he's been here. And we'll try to shed some light on that. We got our Day in Philadelphia Sports History. We got our Of the Night segment, and we got our card review. All that tied up, wrapped neatly in a hopefully 1 hour, 1/2 hour, 1 hour and a half type show. So let's get it going. Let's strap it in, strap it on, strap it up. Let's keep your head, hands, and feet inside the car at all times. And let's roll tonight with your Day of Philadelphia Sports History, a banner day for any Philadelphia Phillies fan that occurred on this day back in 1994. Yes, that is right. You guessed it. You guys are getting good. Today, back in 94, Steve Carlton, arguably Philadelphia's one of their greatest hurlers, I would say definitely top 5 in the history of the organization, was inducted into the Baseball Hall of Fame on this date, along with Yankees great Phil Rizzuto. Lefty was the first pitcher to win 4 Cy Young Awards, currently third most in history. He is the Phillies' all-time leader in games started, wins, and strikeouts, and was ranked number 26 on ESPN's Hall of Fame of 100 list of the 100 greatest baseball players of all time. And yes, he was definitely hands down. I mean, I can't sit here and talk intelligently about Jim Bunning or Robin Roberts. I wasn't around then. They were Iron Men then too. And yeah, they're, both of them are Hall of Famers as well. But in my era, in my lifetime, as I was growing up, and Steve Carlton is one of the reasons why I'm a Phillies fan. Obviously, he's one of the reasons. He is is he the greatest left-hander that's ever pitched in baseball? Yeah, I would say one of them. You can definitely make the argument. Is he the greatest pitcher in Phillies history? You definitely can make the argument. But yeah, I can't speak intelligently about what Jim Bunning and Robin Roberts did. I was not there. I just watched the movie Time News, just like everybody else when those two. But you got to definitely look at Steve Carlton, and you got to marvel in what he was able to accomplish in his career. The greatest trade in Phillies history brought him here in 1972, and he obviously was the reason, one of the main reasons of the 1980 World Series championship team and that run between 77 and 83. So happy Steve Carlton induction day as he went into the Hall of Fame on this day back in 1994. And that little segment was brought to you by the great folks here at the It's a Wrap Sports Network, makers of such programming as the Birds Blast with Kyle Quinn. Yeah, we have the Hall of Fame game happening as we speak. And here in about 3 weeks, the Birds Blast with Kyle Quinn, the quintessential Eagles pregame show, will make its debut for its 6th season here. Me and Kyle will give you what we think weekly about the game that was and the game that will be. And we'll also kick everything off as we do every year with our NFL look. We'll look around the NFL at where we think it's all going to be in 2025. So make sure you're tuned in every week, starting in about 3 weeks, as we will be bringing you the Birds Blast with Kyle Quinn here on the It's a Wrap Sports Network. Typically Thursdays, Fridays, Saturdays, somewhere in there. And the reason why, for those of you who are not familiar with this show and have never watched it before, 6 seasons now, me and Kyle have been doing it. One of the things that we're more notable for, or famous for, is the fact that we are all over the dial when it comes to the show. I like to say it's going to be on Thursdays. I love to say that. But sometimes it's not. Sometimes it's on Fridays. Sometimes it's on Saturdays. And still sometimes it's on Wednesdays. So it's basically where we can fit it in. And both schedules kind of get into the way sometimes. But we do a good job. We always come at you every week. Sometimes it's not the day we say it's going to be. So just keep on the lookout for it. Starting in about 3 weeks, at the end of the month, we'll preview what we think is going to happen in the NFL. And then it's all Eagles all the time here on the It's a Wrap Sports Network, as well as the PNM and the AM program every Sunday at 9 a.m. Make sure you're tuned in. Your Sundays will never be the same here ever again. And my Sundays sure ain't with this show. But so make sure your guys are tuned in for all those 2 programs, as well as the other stuff, which we'll talk about as we move through the show. Michael Papernick first in the shoot tonight, leading it off with a Harrison Bader is the savior. Michael Papernick starting us off with a funny tonight. Harrison Bader was the second part of the trade deadline move that the Phillies made, on top of the Johan Duran move that made yesterday. The Phillies chose the Minnesota Twins this year as the team. Last couple seasons, Dave Dombrowski's sort of moved it around a little bit. 2022 was the Angels. 2023 was the Angels. Last year, we were playing with the Baltimore Orioles and the Angels. This year, we decided to pick the corpse and the carcass of the Minnesota Twins clean. We and the rest of the MLB. Did Minnesota literally trade their entire team over the last 24 hours? Because I saw every trade I was looking at was acquired from the Minnesota Twins. Acquired from Minnesota. Korea's gone. Bader's gone. Duran's gone. I mean, they sent them all out of there in Minnesota. So Minnesota's trash is our treasure, and a lot of other MLB teams. As we'll review some of the trades that other teams made over the last 24 hours. But yeah, Harrison Bader, left fielder. Let's look at his slash line. Look at his numbers here so far in 2025. 31 runs scored. He's 271 at bats, 70 hits, 12 homers, 38 RBIs, 10 stolen bases. He's batting 258. His OBP is 339. His OPS 778. Yeah, I mean, savior, I'm not going to go there, but definitely an upgrade over anything that's hanging out in our outfield right now. Absolutely, 100%. And all of a sudden, that outfield got real crowded, very crowded. And Harrison Bader, is he an upgrade over Max Kepler? On paper, yes. Is he an upgrade over what we're doing in center field? On paper, yes. Is he an upgrade over Nick Castellanos? Unfortunately, yes, because Nick Castellanos has been underwhelming for about 3 years now. So did Dave Dombrowski check the box? Did he bring a needle mover, left fielder, offensive threat to this town? And I say he did not. He's a right-handed bat, throws right. I believe he's under team control next year. I think he's got a mutual option for 2026. So it is technically not a rental player. He will be more than likely back in pinstripes in 2026. Is he part of the potential new outfield here in Philly? Will he be the everyday left fielder when they decide to DFA Kepler or get rid of Kepler or not re-sign Kepler, all depending on what comes first? I don't expect Kepler to get DFA'd. I 100% do not. They're going to keep him around for the rest of I think they're going to keep him around for the rest of the season. He's on a 1-year deal. What else? I mean, what harm can that do? So I don't think they'll DFA Kepler. Is there now a massive platoon situation happening in left and center field? Yes. Does Justin Crawford get added to the mix here in the next few days? Potentially, which creates an even more crowded outfield. Yohan Rojas would obviously have to be sent down in that type of situation, which is okay by me. But Harrison Bader is not the offensive savior I was looking for. And to be honest, brutally honest, I didn't know who that was because I didn't think that player was available in this year's draft. But the cost of getting Harrison Bader was Hendry Mendez, which was currently, I think Hendry was the 14th player in on our prospect list, or was. And then a lower level pitcher, whose name escapes me at this time. So as far as the get for Harrison Bader, I'm okay with it. I truly am. Hendry Mendez was an outfielder who was, probably about 2 years away from even making any kind of serious noise. And he's got some outfielders that are ahead of him on the depth chart that probably would overtake him. Keaton Anthony, Gabriel Cones Jr., players along those lines. So I'm okay with giving up that. And, this is an acceptable trade. It's an acceptable trade for what we got, and what we gave up. Is it an acceptable trade of a player that's going to come here and provide that DNA change offensively that I've been longing for? And I think the answer to that question is obviously we don't know, but if I was going to be a bet man on this, I'd say no, he is not. Harrison Bader is a slight, I shouldn't use the word. Let me cut the word slight out there. He's an improvement over everything else in the outfield. Yes. But is he that, oh, wow? Does he have the, oh, wow? Does he have the Manny Ramirez, Juan Soto? Oh, wow. This was the deal that, is going to take us all the way, or at least kind of re-energize us to take us all the way. I'm going to say no. I'm going to say no. It's a good pickup, and it completes the 2025 trading deadline season for the Phillies. And they added a relief pitcher in Johan Duran and a left fielder in Harrison Bader. Where have we heard that before? Every season since 2022, it's been the same MO. An outfielder and a relief pitcher. An outfielder and a relief pitcher. An outfielder and a relief pitcher. Dave Dombrowski is now on attempt number 5 on trying to solve the left field problem. He's also on attempt number 5 on trying to shore up the back end of the bullpen. Some say these moves based on what we gave up. Now, we're going to review not only the prospects we lost this year, but I also got to thinking, how many of the top 30 prospects has Dave Dombrowski gotten rid of since he's been here? And I kind of compiled a list. He has gotten rid of 8 top 30 prospects in this organization since he's been in charge of all this. And we'll talk about some of them here in a second. We'll also review and talk about the new list of Phillies prospects that survived the great purge of 2025. But was this a lack of, were these moves, and holistically were these moves, Duran and Bader, for Tait, Abel, Mendez, and a pitcher that I honestly don't remember his name. Was this a move of desperation? Was this Dave Dombrowski? Could these moves have been done cheaper? And could they have been done at a different time of the season? Or I don't know, maybe the off season when everybody else uses their time to upgrade their team. And at what cost? And not necessarily the cost of 2025, but we're going to go over some of the cost holistically of what Dave has given up in prospects. Has the cost of what Dave has done, and really none of it's worked up to this point. Maybe this one works, maybe it doesn't. But none of the trade deadline moves up to this point for Dombrowski have worked. And we've given up a boatload, 7, or maybe 5 actually, prospect players who were at one time top 30 in our organization. Is this a desperation move from Dave Dombrowski? Could he have avoided all this by doing better work in the offseason? And at what cost, as this cost now begins to mount, as these players now begin to add up, is Dave slipping back into his old killer of farm system ways? So we're going to review that stuff tonight. Joe Hale says, hey, everybody, what's up? It's 3 this week. See, Joe, I know I did 3. It's hard to keep track, but I did do 3. The A's got a haul for 4 top 20 prospects for Mason Miller and a starting pitcher. Yeah, let's review that one because Mason Miller was dealt. Brent Rooker was not. But the Padres got Mason Miller and left-hand pitcher J.P. Sears from the A's for, I think, the number 1 overall prospect in all of baseball. Shortstop Leo DeVeers, Brandon Nett, Henry Baez, and Edrina Nunez. So the A's taken a page out of the Phillies book in 2015 when we dealt our Ken Giles. Remember him? Remember that lights out closer we had back then when there were so many things wrong with this baseball team, but yet we had a lockdown closer, which is a position that you don't need when you don't have any other players on your team. And we ended up trading Giles to the Astros for absolutely nothing. But this has got kind of that sort of flavor to it that the A's realized that they're more than just Mason Miller away from winning a World Series. A lot more than Mason Miller away. And they went ahead and dealt for the number 1 prospect in all of baseball in Leo DeVeers. Definitely could be a franchise-altering move for the A's as they struggle to find their new identity in Vegas. And that's probably about the time Leo DeVeers will be ready to play for the A's, is when they're the Las Vegas A's. So that might be the move of this trade deadline for me. Mason Miller got moved. Brent Rooker did not, but Mason Miller did get moved by the A's. And obviously with this asking price, with the Padres gave up to get him, I was definitely not prepared to pay this. I was not prepared to give Andrew Painter, because that's what it would have taken. Probably would have taken a combination of an Andrew Painter or Aiden Miller to make that trade happen. And the Phillies, I don't know if they were ever in on the Mason Miller talks, but thankfully they didn't make that deal because I think that was too bad, too rich for your blood. The Padres, though, are kind of classified as one of those teams pushing all them chips in to the middle of the table, making a move here. So, yeah. What about the Twins trading 10? I just kind of let off with that, Mike. I mean, not only did the Phillies choose the Twins to be trading partners with in 2025, but so did all of MLB. Talk about a team that decided, and I know this is probably obviously not a decision that was made yesterday by the Twins player personnel and management team. I'm sure they made this decision at some point during the season that, you know what, let's just blow it up. Let's just the hell with it, man. We're going to trade everybody. We're just do it, man. Let's get rid of everybody. Let's start it all over. And that's exactly what they did. Is they sent about 3/4 of their 26-man roster on out of there, and for separate moves, picking up prospects along the way, and spreading the wealth around Major League Baseball of former Minnesota Twins. And we got 2 of them. So absolutely. Well, Twins Bryson Buxton is kicking himself in the ass for not waiving his no trade clause. I don't know. Maybe he likes Minnesota, man. Baseball's a funny sport. And this is kind of rolls into the whole salary cap thing and potentially what's going to happen in 2026 after the CBA expires. You call into question some of the owners' motives. Absolutely. You call in the questions of the what's going on in Colorado. Does that guy really want to win? You call in question of the Pirates GM or the Pirates owner. Does he want to win? You could maybe do the same thing in Minnesota, but when you're so active in getting rid of everybody, I don't know if you can really deny the fact that somebody wants to win. I mean, maybe they want to start over. And Buxton, obviously not waiving his no trade clause. Maybe he knows something we don't know. Maybe he's privy to some sort of intel that, internal to the Twins that we are not aware of, and probably not. And maybe he just doesn't like moving. Yeah, you made that very, very boisterous statement back at the All-Star game saying, I don't know where all these rumors of me going to Philadelphia are. I have a no trade clause. I'm not going anywhere. But you got to give him a lot of credit, man. He wants to stick with his guns. He wants to stay with the Twins. Give him a lot of credit. Rojas gets sent down. I would pray to God that's the case. I would pray to God that Johan Rojas is no longer a Philly at some point here very soon. Justin Crawford is, but Dave Dombrowski kind of put some water on that statement here just today by saying that obviously we feel, I think as I'm paraphrasing, he said that he feels that Justin Crawford is ready to be an MLB player, but the problem is we don't have an opportunity for him to play every day, and he needs to play every day. I don't understand why you would say something like that, because again, I don't think that what you're getting out of Brandon Marsh, and even this rejuvenated version of Brandon Marsh, which the Phillies missed an avenue of approach there. Why didn't they trade Marsh when his value was slightly higher than it's ever been? Why didn't you just try to move Marsh as well? But he made that comment saying that he doesn't necessarily think Justin Crawford's going to play every day here at this time. Maybe is that smoke? Is that mirrors? Is that truth? I really hope it's smoke and mirrors. I hope that there's really not a doubt whether what Justin Crawford could provide this team, what Brandon Marsh and Johan Rojas cannot. And just having him out there being that number one overall, not number one overall, but the Phillies number one overall pick is just enough to keep people excited, at least for the first month. But God damn, I mean, why would you say that, man? I would have kept Kepler as a bench piece as I would rather see him as a pinch hitter. I would, no, listen, Kepler's got, I said military. He's got Major League Baseball experience. He's been down this road. He's proven that he can be effective at this level. Obviously, he can't do it every day. And obviously, he's not doing it anywhere near the level he was doing it when he was a Twin. And we understand that. But when you're in a pennant push and you need to get every last juice to squeeze the juice out of everybody, why not keep Kepler around? I mean, he's not going to be back next year. He's a 1-year deal. It's an easy move here. Just as long as he's not playing every day. That's all that really matters. And yes, as you mentioned it, Michael, I have visions of Jake Cave ending our 2023 season still very vividly on my mind. And I probably would feel better if Kepler was in that position with the last at bat against the Arizona Diamondbacks in Game 7. Not remarkably feel better about it, but a lot better than seeing Jake Cave up there. So I agree. I think you keep Kepler around. You just move him to I guess we can call it a platoon situation where he never plays and only on certain situations. I think the Duran was a decent trade. Michael Papernick, we talked about this on the post game last night. I don't know if you were there, but it serves a need. The Phillies got a closer. Now, whether or not he's going to be used as a closer at this current time, that's the question we can't answer. Whether or not he's going to be stuck with as a closer is a question we can't answer because the manager is a wild card, right? I don't like giving up Eduardo Tait for him. I went in some detail last night about the trading of Tait leaves us paper thin for any catching prospects in this organization, not team, but the organization. It's the second blue chip catcher that he's dealt in his tenure here. One of these catchers is going to come back and bite him on the ass. If it's not O'Hoppe, it's probably going to be Tait. And if it's not Tait, it'll probably be both of them. And that's what scares me. It does scare me because I have my eyes on that, and my eyes on every position on this team. And we're not checking all the future boxes and at all for catcher. I mean, after this season, your guess is as good as mine. Who's catching next year? Because our catcher is a free agent, and has JT cornered the market on the Phillies? Has he made this a buyer's market in terms of re-signing him potentially for what the Phillies have done to themselves? So I don't like the catching situation with this team going forward. I know there's a kid lower down in the minors that we're going to talk about tonight again. That could be the next greatest thing. But it just really seems very frustrating that we can't seem to keep catchers here. It's, again, almost like the Eagles and their inability to invest any money in linebackers. It's almost got that sort of air to it. Just tuning in, so I missed your thoughts on Bader. So my thoughts on Bader, he's absolutely an upgrade over anything we have out in the outfield. But is he the player that changes your DNA of your offense? Is he that player that's going to come in here and significantly make this offense a different animal? Is the addition of Harrison Bader putting opposing pitching staffs on notice that, you know what, it's not going to be just swinging for the fences anymore. We gotta be aware of this, and this. And I say the answer to that question is no, absolutely not. It's one player. Where do you bat him in the lineup? You bat him down 6-7. Is that where he goes? Does he go up at 2? I mean, is he the second guy now? Is he our number 2 in the lineup? Upgrade, yes. Is he the needle mover offensively that I was looking for? No. Do I think we gave up too much for him? No. But do I think we could have gotten him without giving up prospects if Dave Dombrowski did his job correctly back in the offseason? Yes. So upgrade, yes. Game changer? No, absolutely not. And is anybody out there thinking that the addition of Harrison Bader is a game changer to this offense? All of a sudden it's going to unlock some other level of this offense? I don't think it is. And that's what I wanted. And it's the same MO. We once again, left field escapes Dave Dombrowski. He just can't seem to lock that position down for the life of him. And yet here's another left fielder du jour that that's coming in here to try to save the day. He goes up there with he now joins the list with Max Kepler, Austin Hayes, and those players, and Brandon Marsh, I guess, actually too. So we'll see. I don't think he's a game changer, but I think he's an upgrade. Crawford 321, 411 OBB, Marsh 261, 3. I honestly 100% agree with you, Michael Papernick, but I also have floated this theory when it comes to Crawford and Marsh. This could be pride with Dave Dombrowski, because saying, Marsh, you're done, DFA, sent to the minors, traded, limited playing time. This could be a point where Dave Dombrowski doesn't want to admit that he made a bad trade with Logan O'Hoppe. This could be a prideful thing right now with him, and that he is going to milk every ounce that he can out of making Brandon Marsh work. And I hope I'm wrong, but I'm thinking that I just having a hard time coming up with any other legitimate reason why Brandon Marsh is still be given an opportunity to play every day for this baseball team. I think it comes down to Dave Dombrowski not having to admit to me and everybody else that he made a stupid trade with Logan O'Hoppe. Now, maybe I'm wrong, but that's what I'm feeling like. If you knock on Crawford, he hits the ball on the ground too much, we'll just keep doing it with yeah, absolutely. Keep on doing it. Leg those hits out. Yeah, put the ball in play. Make contact. That's what I want. Now, Crawford could be a DNA changer to this lineup offensively. He could be the guy, and maybe a combination of Crawford and Bader. But where do you bat all these guys? I mean, you're going to have to bat Crawford at 9, right? I mean, that's where you have to put him. Again, is Bader your new number 2? Is he going down on 2? Are we going to move Schwarber back to cleanup? God forbid. But you could have yourself a DNA changer with Crawford added to the mix, as well with Harrison Bader. That is something that is feasible. So, yeah. Bader is not the right-handed bat or a game changer. He's not. No, he's an upgrade, 100% an upgrade. Yes, I agree with you. He's an upgrade, but he's not moving the needle. Nope, and he's not. Now, maybe, again, as I just mentioned, maybe Bader's part of a bigger plan. Maybe it's the big plan of bringing Crawford here. Maybe that's he's the first piece of the new outfield. And now Justin Crawford's going to follow him within the next few days. I've been locked into this Hall of Fame game. I'm so ready for football to be here. LOL. Yeah, I was just watching it. It was 24/7 last time I saw it. It's good to see it, man. It's good to see football back. It's definitely getting into that time of the year. Summer's entering the dog days now. And it gets to that point in summer where you're just like, I'm done with the hot weather. I'm done with the humidity. I'm done with the mosquitoes. I'm done with everything about summer. And I just want to get to the best time of the year. I'm speaking personally of me, which is the autumn, when you could potentially have all 4 of your Philadelphia sports teams playing at the same time in October. And, you got the transition of the weather, that little crispness in the air, not cold, but yet, still 70s in the day, but nice little 50s and clear at night. You guys know what I'm talking about. Summer gets stale, man. It gets stale pretty quick. Now, I hate the winter. I can't stand it, and I much prefer to be locked in an endless summer than I would be in an endless winter. But summer is always been a gateway month for me, or gateway season to the best, which is the autumn. And with the with the Hall of Fame game happening currently right now, between the team that could be something that the Eagles have to contend with the Lions this year, it's a great sign because we're one step closer to that wonderful, magical time of the year. Turner, Bader, Harper, Schwarber, Castellanos, Realmuto, Marsh, Kemp, and Stott. So here's the Michael Papernik's new lineup. Turner, Bader, Harper, Schwarber, Castellanos, Realmuto, Marsh, Kemp, and Stott. Does that lineup do anything for you? I mean, it's a little bit more balanced. You got some contact up top of the lineup. You got contact and power up top of that lineup with Turner and Bader. Then you got your pure power hitters with Harper and Schwarber. But the lineup still falls apart after Schwarber. It still falls apart after Schwarber. And that's going to be the problem here, And I think the 2 players in that lineup right now that hold their future in their hands are Castellanos and Realmuto. If they can return to any form of what they have been in the past, we might be okay. But right now, it's been that not power outage down there, and those two guys are self-described power hitters, but it's been their just negligence in those two spots in your lineup that have been the problem. And then there's absolutely nothing down there at the very bottom of the lineup at all. So, do we have the top 4 positions maybe locked in pretty good? Yeah, but the rest of it still scares the hell out of me in terms of what it could provide. Add the Union to that, they're sitting in first place with 9 matches remaining in the regular season. Fall is the best time of the year. 100%, Steve. 100%. If Crawford is brought up and not batting 1 or 2, bat him 9 in the lineup. He's not going to bat 1 or 2. They're not going to do that to him. They're just not. It would upset the balance with Turner. Turner, I bitched and moaned for years about Turner not leading off. I bitched and moaned for years for Schwarber not batting cleanup. I got 1 out of 2, and I almost had 2 out of 2 there for a minute when Schwarber was batting 4th, and now he's up to batting 2nd. Maybe he goes back to batting 4th now, but don't mess that up. I think Crawford, and you gotta kind of push Crawford along a little bit slower. I mean, you don't throw him to the wolves right off the bat and tell him, hey, you're going to lead off. No, batting 9th is fine for him. He can be part of turning the lineup over, maybe get on base, cause some issues on the base paths, give Turner an opportunity to drive him in, or maybe, hit a 2-run homer for himself. So I think it's a no-brainer that Crawford bats 9th. Maybe some years from now, 3, 4, 5 years from now, Crawford is a consummate leadoff hitter. But right now, he'd be probably more comfortable batting 9th. And I was sure as hell be more comfortable with him batting 9th. So 100% with that, Michael Papernik. I agree with that statement. So with that being said, we've been talking a lot about Harrison Bader. We've been talking a lot about the Phillies in the prospect pool. So I want to review a couple things with you as we dwell into my minor league thing here. So Dombrowski, since he's been the player or president of player personnel, or in charge of all the moves here, he has dealt 8 of our top 30 prospects who at one time, these players are no longer our prospects, and some of them have moved on to the majors, but At one time, they were part of our top 30 of our prospect list. And in kind of no certain order, Logan O'Hoppe, who was the number 1 prospect in our system when he was traded, Eduardo Tait, who was currently or was the number 2 prospect in our system, number 6, Mick Abel, number 10, George Clausen, number 11, Samuel Aguirre, number 4, Starlin Caba, who got moved in the Jesus Luzardo trade this past offseason. The number 23 prospect at one time, Emarian Boyd, who was also sent in that Jesus Luzardo trade over the offseason, and our 14th prospect, Hendry Mendez, have all been dealt by Dave Dombrowski in his tenure. 8 out of our top 30 at one time prospect list. And with all the dust clearing with these latest prospects sent out of here, the Phillies have a new top 30 list of prospects. And let's go over them real quick. The new number 1 prospect in the Phillies system is returning to his number 1 perch. He fell out of it there for a minute. I thought, did Painter? Yeah, Crawford was the number 1, wasn't he? But Andrew Painter is back as your number 1 prospect in the organization. Your number 2 prospect going all the way up from 8 to 2. Big jump for Aiden Miller as he moves into the number 2 slot. Justin Crawford falls to 3. He is your 3rd prospect in the Phillies organization. Arun Escobar rocketing up from 11 to 4 in the prospect list. The 2024 first-round draft pick, Dante Nori, coming all the way up from 26 to 5 now in the organization. Moises Chase was one of the pitchers acquired in the Sir Anthony Dominguez trade last year with Baltimore. He is your number 6 prospect. Gabriel Racones Jr. is your number 7 prospect. The next greatest pitcher to maybe replace the loss of Mick Abel, or I should say the loss of expectations of Mick Abel, Gene Cabrera is your number 8 prospect. Griffin Buckholder, another 2024 draft pick, is your number 9. Devin Saltavan, second baseman, is your 10. Seth Johnson, the other pitcher acquired in the Sir Anthony Greg Soto trade, is your 11th. Brian Racone is your 12th. Carson DiMartini, a 4th-round pick last year, is your 13th. Keaton Anthony, a 3rd-round pick last year, is your 14th overall in your system. John Spikerman, another 2024 draft pick, is your 15th. Mavis Graves, a player that we talk about a ton on the Down the Phillies Farm segment, is your 16th. Alex McFarland, another player we speak a lot about, at number 17. Aberson Castellano is 18, a right-hand pitcher. Wen Hugh Pan, your 19th overall. TJ Walton, your 20th. Christian McGowan, your 21st. Michael Mercado actually falls on this list. He was like number 11. Now he's down to 22. And here's the new catcher hope for the future, Elrilo Farabus, your number 23 prospect in your system. Carter Matheson at 24. 2025 second-round draft pick, Micah Otterbrandt, is your number 25th. Caleb Ricketts, we didn't mention him last night, and I want to apologize. I thought about it when I went off the air. Caleb Ricketts is a catcher. He's in Double-A as well, along with Jordan Disson. I forgot about Caleb Ricketts. So maybe he's the next one. He's probably as we're talking catching future prospects, he's the closest one to come up, but he's a goddamn project. Dylan Campbell at number 27, Caden Hedinger at number 28, Ramon Marquez at 29, and Raylan Heredia at 30. Names that are not on this list, or I should say a name that escapes this list. No Gage Wood. Gage Wood is not currently rated on this list at all, as he is still kind of working his way through the system in Clearwater as they try to figure out where to put him. But there you go, your new top 30 of Phillies prospects after the smoke has cleared and after Dave Dombrowski has just traded 2 more top 30 prospects, or 1 more, I should say. I'm not going to give I don't even know the other guy's name, so I'm not going to give him top 30 ability, and he wasn't a top 30 guy. So 8 top 30 prospects dealt by Dave Dombrowski in his tenure here in Philadelphia. And the word or the return value on all these players and the 8 that he sent out of here versus the players that he brought here has been severely skewed the other way. Now, granted, all the 8 players that I mentioned, only one of them currently has got a foothold in the MLB, and that's Ohapi. The rest of them are still, trudging their way through the minor leagues trying to find themselves. But the return value of these guys, Brandon Marsh, we have our opinions about Brandon. And then that's it. I'm trying to think of the other. Harrison Bader, I guess, is one, and now you can add Johan Duran to those. So that's 3 players. So 3 players currently on the Phillies roster that Dave Dombrowski has acquired versus the 8 prospects on the top 30 list that Dave has sent out of here. That's not necessarily great numbers there. Duran and Bader do have team control options. Through 27 is Duran, and then I know Bader's got a mutual option deal next year, so more than likely he'll be here next season. But 3 players that are still currently on this team versus 8 prospects in the top 30 that we've sent out here. I don't know, man. It's a little concerning to me. A little concerning. Any word on how Nola did today? I have no clue. I was involved in a 12-hour rain delay today where I was. So I was not really, I should have been watching. I don't know, why wasn't I watching baseball? I have no idea. So somebody wants to help me out and give us an update on how Aaron Nola did in his rehab start for the Pigs today. Hi, Matty. I suggested Bader in the offseason. I remember you did. And Dave Dombrowski had an opportunity to pick him up, but he did not. So instead of going after him where all it would have cost him was money, we give up another top 30 prospect. Is this a desperation move, Barbara? Were these moves desperation? Did Dave Dombrowski feel like he had to go through and do this, not necessarily to help this team win, but to show the city of Philadelphia that he still knows what he's doing with his job? Because maybe some people have lost confidence in him. And is the price that we paid ultimately too much for what we got in return value? And only time will tell. But I just ran some raw numbers here. 8 top 30 prospects have been traded away by Dave Dombrowski in his tenure here as the Phillies president of player personnel, whatever, operations, whatever he is. 8. And currently only 3 players are still on the roster for those 8 players. 3. Brandon Marsh is one of them, and the 2 guys we picked up in the last 24 hours. Is that acceptable to maintaining a status quo and a balance to trying to have the Phillies be a winner? I don't think it is. I love the Bader trade. Of course you do, Mike. You're a homer. You would love any trade. I think you said the same thing about Noah Syndergaard. I think you said the same thing about Brandon Marsh. I know you said the same thing about David Robertson when he came here the second time. It would be more shocking news from you to say that you don't like the Bader trade than for you to say you did. Just put it out there. What's up, Rick? How you doing? They are not open tonight. I got into this. I want to get through it. This is our final show of the week. 12 hours stuck in a rain delay for me today, Ricky. You're lucky that I'm sitting here right now because where I'm supposed to be, they're playing baseball, and I just sort of deuced out and said, you know what? I'm tired of waiting around for this thing. I'm going home. So you're lucky that I'm here as it is, Ricky. So I gotta just kind of get through this. Padres and Mets also loaded up. Yes, and Barbara mentioned the Padres and the Mets. So let's look at some of the trades that happened around MLB over the past 24 hours. The best one, I think, hands down, is the Padres getting Mason Miller. Not so much the Padres getting Mason Miller, but what the A's got back in return for Mason Miller. They got the number 1 overall prospect in all of baseball, and Leo Devers, Brandon Nett, Henry Baez, and Edwinanio Nunez. As they break ground on their stadium out in Vegas, because it's about 3 years away, this is about the time when these players should be in MLB. So this is a marketing stroke of genius by the A's as they're trying to create a new, vibe in Vegas. They're trying to create a new franchise, a new face, and now they're stockpiling young talent to go along with that. So you got to be happy if you're an A's fan, and if there's any of you out there, please speak up. But you got to be happy. You got to be happy about what the Oakland A's or Sacramento A's are doing. right now is kind of gearing up for the future. The second best trade that I think I've seen so far today or the last 4 days was the Astros acquiring Carlos Correa and cash for left-hand pitcher Mike Mikulski. The Twins, we mentioned it multiple times throughout this show, decided, you know what, we're done, and we're not afraid to say it, and we're going to trade everybody. The Mariners getting Eugenio Suarez from the Diamondbacks, so he did go for Tyler Locklear, right-hand pitcher Hunter Cran, and right-hand pitcher Juan Burgos. He went to this was a trade between the Mariners and the D-backs. So Suarez is heading back to Seattle, right? Is that correct? Didn't he start in Seattle? Wasn't he part of Seattle back in the day? Phillies, of course, getting Johan Duran for Eduardo Tait and Nick Abel. The Yankees did sort of also another needle mover move. David Bednar was finally traded from the Pirates. He went to the Yankees for Rafael Flores, Edgelin Perez, and outfielder Brian Sanchez. The Rangers got Merrill Kelly from the D-backs for Cole Drake, David Hageman, and Mitch Bratt. And now the Mets. The Mets picked up Ryan Helsley from the Cardinals. So the Cardinals that were ultimately sellers this trade deadline. This is a move that I think is going to bite the Phillies in the ass in a big way. I'm scared to death of this guy being in the NL East, and I'm scared to death of this guy potentially holding a lot of our playoff fate in his hands. Infielder Jesus Baez, Nate Dome, and Frank Isblatt. They went over to the Cardinals or to the Mets. No, from the Mets to the Cardinals. The Blue Jays acquired Shane Bieber from the Guardians for Kale Stevens. So the Guardians were kind of buying and selling. The Padres continuing trying their all-in thing. They got Ryan O'Hearn and Ramon Loreno from the Orioles for prospects and for 6 prospects. So talk about a team that's depleting their minor league system, but you guys want this, man. Are people out there not happy that they're Padre fans tonight? Because the Padres certainly are pushing their chips in the middle of the table. We've seen them do this before and not work. The Yankees got Ryan McMahon back on July 25th from the Rockies for Griffin Herring and Josh Gross. Mariners also got Josh Naylor from the D-backs from Braden Garcia and Ashton Izzy. The White Sox picking up Dustin May from the Dodgers. That was an interesting trade for James Tibbs and Zach Earnhardt. The Rays, who are, I guess, are buying, got Griffin Jacks from the Twins, as again the Twins selling off to everybody for Taj Bradley. Yankees got Camilo Doval from the Giants for 4 prospects. Mets, Tyler Rogers, another huge pickup by them. The Mets might be assembling one of the best bullpens in the history of baseball. Jose Buto, Blade Tidwell, and Drew Gilbert. The Reds acquired Zach Littell. The Rays got Hunter Fiducia, Brian Van Bell. The Dodgers acquired Adam Servinsky, Paul Grievous, and Ben Roverti in a huge 3-team trade. Of course, Phillies got Harrison Bader. Mets acquired Cedric Mullins. So not only are they, the Mets are definitely pushing their chips in for Anthony Nunez and Ramon Gomez and Chandler Marsh. Reds got Brian Hayes from the Pirates. The Pirates, man. There was a time when that was a proud franchise. No more. Sammy Stafora and Taylor Rogers. Yankees got Jose Cabrera from the Rays. And then there's a few other trades out there. Charlie Morton went from the Tigers to went from the Orioles to the Tigers. Mike Yastrzemski is on his way. Traded by the Giants to the Royals. Mike Yastrzemski, man. And this guy's been there for like 1,000 years. And now he's a Royal. Nestor Cortez went from the Brewers to the Padres. A couple other deals there too. So what are your thoughts, man? We can talk about, I asked the question, who are your winners and your losers from the trade deadline? And it's a loaded question. It's not, I don't want to know. Let's go with the Homer thing. Some of the things that a lot of you guys like to talk about here on the show. Who pushed all their chips in? Who says, come hell or high water, we're going for the World Series this year? Who are the teams out there, based on what I just read to you, that said they're done messing around, they're making a play for this? Are the Phillies one of those teams? I don't think they are, and I'm okay with that. I think you definitely can say the Mets and the Padres. The Mets and Padres are not messing around. The Mets, they went after Cedric Mullins. You can have him. But they really did a lot of good work with that bullpen. Mets have some starting pitching issues. They had some bullpen issues. They addressed one of them. Maybe they're hoping to get healthy on the other side of it. But the Mets ain't messing around. Padres as well. Again, another year of I don't know where they're finding all these players. They go after Juan Soto and they trade a boatload for him. C.J. Abrams to name one of those players that went in that deal. Then for some odd reason, they found their way with the number 1 overall prospect in baseball this year. And they were able to use him to flip for friggin' Mason Miller. Where the hell are the Padres getting all these assets from? Is that how a real player personnel unit goes and drafts and acquires talent? But the Padres, once again, pushing all them chips in. And then the Yankees attempting to rebuild their bullpen as well. So the top 3, in my opinion, are the Mets, Padres, Yankees. Are teams that are done messing around and are trying to push their chips in. And it's a technique. It's a strategy. It's not a strategy that I recommend, but it's a strategy. Mets, Matty, do you think that you have too many outfielders now? Somebody, Rojas, Marsh, Kepler isn't needed anymore, plus no more outfield for Kemp. I agree. The outfield's got kind of crowded, and it should get crowdeder. Crawford needs to be part of that mix soon. But with that being said, we talked about this. Kepler's not. I don't recommend you DFA-ing Kepler. He's on a cheap deal. Well, it's not on a cheap deal, but he's on a 1-year deal, and all you can do is reap some rewards from him. Take all sort of responsibility away from him. Make him just a utility guy, a pinch hitter. Make him somebody that hangs out on the bench, kind of takes over that Taiwan Walker cheerleader role. That guy, or maybe the Garrett Stubbs role. Get him his own little beer case hat. That kind of guy. But I think he serves a purpose still in this team. For a bat when the chips are way down and we need somebody other than Jake Cave to come up and take a hack. So I think you hold on to Kepler. Marsh and Rojas should have been out of here months ago. I already kind of explained why I don't think Marsh is going anywhere, because I think it's a prideful thing with Dombrowski. He doesn't want to officially admit that he made one of the worst trades in Phillies history, and on my list, the 4th worst trade in Phillies history. So I don't think Marsh goes. Rojas will have to go. And if they bring Crawford, we're going to go right back to those numbers again. And you're right. Kemp needs to probably stay in the infield, stay at third base. Keep going with that for a while and see how it works. And do you roll a bench with Kepler and roll a bench with Kemp? You can't roll a bench that way. You're going to have to, somebody can't be there or they have to get rid of Sosa. It's some serious questions are going to have to be asked as we move down the stretch of the season. It got rained out. Okay, so Noah's start did not happen. He's going to pitch tomorrow. Kwan stayed. Yeah, Kwan did stay. And the Guardians were not sellers, really. They made some moves, but I didn't think the Guardians were going to be sellers. Twins and D-backs dumped a lot of players. The Twins dumped their entire roster. Good God. Yankees traded for a shortstop that leads in stolen bases. Take note of Volpe now, huh? Somebody from Skeens Camp did, in fact, make a comment that the Pirates need to improve. I don't know. Again, this kind of goes back to the question of salary cap versus luxury tax, Barbara. And you brought this point up on this program. You're the first one to do it, actually. You brought up the point that are some owners just not in it for the right reasons, right? Or some owners care less about winning. And you have to start making a case against the Pirates and the Rockies and teams like that are perennial bottom feeders and don't want to spend money on high price contracts, don't want to go that route. And now, they're constantly trading off any assets that they got. You brought up a very interesting point about that. And, Paul Skeens was not a name that was going to be dangled in a trade rumor this year, but give it about 2 or 3 years, and Paul Skeens will probably be one of the hottest names out there for a potential midseason trade offer. Because if the Pirates continue to trend in the wrong way, which there's no indications to say otherwise, Paul Skeens is going to get pretty frustrated about being in Pittsburgh pretty quickly if he doesn't see a commitment from ownership to win. And I would imagine Paul Skeens will be one of the hottest names basically since I would have to go with Juan Soto, Manny Ramirez. He's probably going to be the next real hot name. Again, maybe 3 years from now. Maybe 2. Who knows? Hell, maybe next year. I don't know. But Skeens will be the next big name that's going to be talked about at a trade deadline at some point real soon, if the Pirates don't don't get serious about trying to win. Joe says Padres, Mets, and Reds. So there's his top three: Padres, Mets, and Reds. Yeah, I liked the pickup of Hayes is a good, solid move by the Reds, 100%. But I think that when you look at what the Mets did, and then of course the Mets are a problem because they're in our division. The Mets were serious, man. And again, the Mets picked up a lot of Major League Baseball talent, and they didn't have too much in the minor league systems to give up. And they gave it up, so it can be done, but we'll see if the Phillies did the right thing. So we have come and gone. No more trade deadline. Now the big thing in baseball is going to be the postseason. God damn, man. We've gone through all the MLB waypoints of the season. We're through them all except one. And that's the postseason. Man, can we turn the clock back to April? We start over? Jesus Christ. This was it, man. Draft, all-star game, trade deadline. They're done. Over. Finito. All we have to look forward now is the postseason. Sucks. Joe says he's going to take pictures tomorrow where Jimmy Rollins goes into the Wall of Fame. Absolutely. Joe will be in town, or Joe will be at the stadium or at the game tomorrow night. Jimmy Rollins, Ed Wade going into the Wall of Fame. Good series coming up, man. Tigers, Phillies. Saturday will be Skubal against Wheeler. Woo. Potential World Series preview? Yeah, I don't know. Don't know about that, but could be. But a good series and a watermark series for the Phillies with their new added pieces, Bader and Duran. So we'll see. We'll see. I checked on the Hall of Fame game. It's football. I was watching it too. You have to watch it. It's just what you do. You got. It's not good football, but it's football, and that'll do at this point of the season, right? It's football. All right, let's go into the of the night segment here on the program. All right, the other night segment. We turned over we broke new ground the other night. We started with the Flyers player spotlight cards as we get ready for the NHL season. It's really, again, this is what's great about this transitional time of the year. We got football. It's on TV tonight. We're talking MLB trade deadline, and we're starting to preview some Flyers players starting to kind of look forward to the start of this NHL season. We did Sean Couturier the other night as our first Flyer player spotlight card of the season. We're going to continue it on tonight. Probably going to do 2 a week of these until we get closer to the start of the season. Still not really sure who all of them are because there's still some camp battles to be decided. What's that second line going to look like? Or more importantly, what's that third line going to look like? Or hell, what's that first line going to look like? So, but we are going to continue to do this. And tonight, our second player that we're going to spotlight, potentially the future of the franchise right there, MattyB Michkov, right winger, number 39. His rookie season that came a year earlier than a lot of people were anticipating. And was it a success? Yes, it was a success. He was everything and more. The NHL game did not seem to be too much for him right from the get. 80 games played his rookie campaign, 26 goals, 37 assists, 63 points, and a very alarming minus 18. But, that minus 18 is because he logged a lot of ice time, and he logged a lot of ice time on special teams, and he logged a lot of ice time on 5-on-5, and the Flyers just weren't, just not that good. So it might be more indicative of how many minutes he played versus the results of him being on the ice at this stage of the Flyers rebuild. But Michkov, definitely a cornerstone piece as the Flyers try to rebuild. Question now goes, not so much the sophomore slump. I'm not going to say that, but now that we have year 2 to look forward to, another new head coach, a new system, does MattyB Michkov unlock even more offensive potential? Does he have a 35 to 40 goal season in him? Is he a 100-point guy in the making? I think that a lot of that is going to be answered with the players that are put around him. I'm not saying Michkov cannot stand on his own. I am not saying that, but I'm definitely saying he can stand a lot taller on the shoulders of others. So definitely something there. He is the first piece in this new era of Orange that we're talking about. And a lot of expectations are now placed upon him. And of course, a cornerstone on the right side on that first line, whomever else might be there. Michkov is definitely part of the new first line of the Flyers. Again, whoever the other two are, your guess is as good as mine, but at least we found the right wing in MattyB and Michkov. So 80 games played his rookie season. That's really impressive for me to see that. I didn't realize he had played all those games. I know that he was benched a couple times by Tortorella. And it's going to be interesting to see how he does under Tocchet and under a more flowier offense and a little bit more looser offensive approach than what John Tortorella was doing. And I'm not bagging on Tortorella. I thought Tortorella was appropriate for what the Flyers were at the time. He was teaching them all how to be pros, and Michkov was going through that process last year himself. But now, cut those training wheels off, and let's see what this guy can really do. But a very positive rookie season. I believe he came in second in the Calder Cup or the Calder Trophy voting behind Macklin Celebrini of the San Jose Sharks. So a very impressive rookie campaign for MattyB and Michkov. One of the few bright spots of the future of the Flyers. And there you go, man. That's our second Flyer profile player card so far this year. I can't tell how much I want the Flyers to return to greatness. I miss it. Me too, Barbara. And, of course, we got you covered here. We're going to go back with the Clear the Ice show, and I still owe you a season review show from last year. I still owe you that. It's coming. I got August to get that out of the way. August is the point of no return. If we go beyond August, I can't do a season review show. We got to do a season preview show, but I'm targeting August as that time. All right, let's finish it up with my favorite segment. That's right. It's the MattyB card review segment of the program. We finish every show off like this every week, every night, and every week. We take one of my sports cards and have some fun talking about it. We've been stuck on the modern era baseball cards, and we're going to stay there because I have a ton of them. I have probably no secret that most of my collection and most people's collections is comprised of baseball cards. I do have an ample amount of hockey, not as many basketball, and a putrid number of football cards. But most of my football cards are considered to be high end. Well, I shouldn't say high end, somewhat financially valuable. But we're staying in baseball tonight, and we're going with a player that almost could have been a Philly. Oh, this guy could have been a Philly a couple times. He could have been drafted by us, and he could have also been signed by us, and he could potentially be signed by us again. Who knows next year what that might bring. And this is his rookie card from 2020. He's not only is he not a Philly, and he could have been a Philly, but he's certainly a Philly's nemesis these days where he plays. And I speak, of course, of the polar bear himself, Pete Alonso. And this is his 2020 Topps rookie card from the opening day series of those cards that year. We've talked about how Topps likes to throw curveballs and throw that rookie cup thing. As you see there up in the upper left-hand corner, that looks like a miniature Stanley Cup. Topps likes to play little games with that. Sometimes that's the actual rookie card. Other times it's not. Other times it's the RC rookie card logo shield that they put on there. But this is his rookie card, or I should say one of his rookie cards from the 2020 series of Topps cards. This was, again, from the opening day series that they ran in 2020. This card is absolutely worthless. It's a base card. It comes in a few different variants. I believe pink refractor, comes in gold refractor. It comes in a few different ones, blue, chrome. This is the base card from the opening day series. And right now, on any reputable database that you probably will look on, this card's about $2. And matter of fact, I would be trying to bamboozle you if I was going to sell it to you for $3, because the highest I've seen it as a base card ungraded is about $1.60. And it's actually kind of funny to me that a Pete Alonso rookie card would be that worthless. But I like the card. I love the opening day series from 2020. There's some really good cards in it. And this is definitely one of them. And I do lament every time I watch Pete Alonso play about how we could have not only drafted him in lieu of Mickey Moniak, but we could have also signed him this past offseason, as he sat for way long on the free agent market looking for a team. And then we could potentially be in the market for maybe re-signing him this offseason, as he has a player option with the Mets, and maybe he doesn't take it in 2026. So here's to the one of the players that got away, and that's Pete Alonso and his 2020 Topps opening day rookie card from the opening day set, base card, and here it is in its physical form. Got a pretty clean version of it here. Centering is very good, no fading, sharp corners. If I could find a PSA of this card and see how much it's worth, maybe I have a $10 card, who knows? But as I said, in the base form like this, in this condition, you're looking at about $1.60. Now I'm going to jack the price up on you and charge you $3, but it's about worth about $1.60. A Pete Alonso rookie card. I would hope it goes up over the years and gets a little bit more value, but there you go. Pete Alonso's rookie card. I like it. I like the player. I've always liked the player. I absolutely have. Michael Papernick says, good show. Thank you, Michael. And Joe Hale says, great show. Thank you, gentlemen. And we will get back to doing, as I said, we're getting through the woods here quickly. Tomorrow is a bear of a day for me. I got a lot of games to do. Thank God it's Friday and I won't have to do a show, but we're getting to it. My time in the sun is winding down, at least for the better part of the month of August. I got about half of the month of August, and then the rest of it I'm off. So, I'm getting out of this craziness that I've been on. Polar Bear is pretty good fielder, first base, especially scooping. Yeah, he could have been a Philly, man. Could have been a Philly. Thank you, Barbara. Look forward to anytime you interact with us here on this show and any other shows on this network. We talked about some of them earlier. Let's finish them up. Tomorrow night, you got the wraparound with Pat Bernard. It'll be with Mike Laro tomorrow night as Pat continues to deal with his technical issues. Earlier tonight, if you were tuned in, and I know you were, it is the Attacking Third with Steve Fuentes. He did the solo gig tonight as Pat, again, dealing with those technical issues. And then tomorrow, the big series, a huge series, man, for the Phillies. I can't really understate that. Big Al will not be with you on Friday. There was a last-minute change. I believe Mike's taking this one. Mike's going to have you back-to-back with the wrapper, with this and then the wraparound. And then I will be on Saturday and Sunday. So this advertisement is complete fraud. There's none of these people are going to be seen this weekend. It'll be Mike Laro and me over the weekend. So you're going to get me on Saturday and you're going to get me on Sunday. So there won't be a final word on Sunday night because the Phillies have the night game on ESPN. So I'll be coming at you around 10 o'clock. So no final word on Sunday. So we won't be back with the final word until Monday night, but we will be back next week. So make sure you're checked in over the weekend with us. Keep it in tune for the rest of the weekend. Attacking Union was fun. Yes. Was it? Steve does a good job with it. I don't know anything about soccer. I can't make a comment on it. He does a really good job with it, though. Listen, guys, 3 shows this week. Thank you, Joe Hale, for reminding me it was 3. I thought it was 2. Hopefully we get back to that 5-day a week here sooner than later. I enjoy doing this and I enjoy interacting with you. And yes, the phone lines will be a staple of this show once the dust settles. I promise you, Ricky, if you're out there listening, I promise. But until we talk again on Saturday when I get you for the Fightins final, and then until we talk again until Monday when I get you back here, I wish you guys a great rest of your night and a pleasant tomorrow. We'll see you.